Good evening. This is for 3.11. This is the Michelle Clark. How would I change this school's culture? The primary piece that I want to focus on is in school data. We see that the classroom disruptions are 210. We see the insubordination of the students to the teachers is at 100, and we see 350 uniform violations. We're probably seeing this the same across the board. And so, and we notice that while the violations go up as the grade levels go up, um, our biggest culprits are always the ninth grade. So, in dealing with culture, the first priority is to kind of isolate ninth grade. Ninth grade is a special kind of year, and what I'm noticing is that ninth graders need that time to kind of grow and build upon themselves. So, and so many schools have done the ninth grade academy concept, where ninth grade is kind of in their own world. Ninth grade really needs to have some incentives that's going to make them buy into the total learning process here at the school. Now, what is interesting when we see that the bulk of the fights are between 10th and 12th grade, but we're still seeing ninth grade have a significant problem there. And so I think that the best way to try to get the culture on one accord here, as we don't see too many, the most egregious is on the 12th grade level when it comes to like weapons or drugs in fights. First things first is to isolate each grade level. And I'm not saying it doesn't seem that that's really the case here so far, but I would want to isolate each grade level, but also offer, regardless to the isolation of the grade level, offer the students the chance or more opportunities to have uniform dress down days, and also offer students a chance to change the uniform. By changing the uniform, and you're giving kids options of t-shirts to buy as opposed to the standard what we see, you may get more buy-in to the uniform, so that the uniform is not a violation and it can still be school attire, school appropriate and school attire. So the first thing we got going on is creating a ninth grade academy that's going to really hone in on giving ninth graders social emotional learning skills and being kind of isolated from the general population. You're also going to isolate all the other classes with a particular focus on the seniors. You're trying to create an environment where the seniors realize that this is the last hurrah, and we're trying to truly transition them for one of the big three and continue to drive that piece home in order for you to get one of the big three of job, military, or college, that you cannot consistently fight inside of this building. Otherwise, as close as you are, you may not finish up the whole process. How do we do that? The first order of business is to organize teachers along the lines of instructional practices. The piece gives us a big motivation on how we have a diverse staff, and in that diverse staff, the staff is diverse also by age or the amount of time they've been in the school building. And we also have the teams. So in creating those isolated teams, those isolated grade levels, we're going to also isolate the teams so that there's no more than we try to keep 100 kids or so on a team of 4 to 5 teachers, and sometimes 7 teachers, to kind of keep that small group isolated and contain. And then through those teachers, they're able to get the social emotional learning component as well as the academic piece that they need as one mini family. This is something that really works in middle school. And I understand this is a 7th through 12th grade school. But because it has that middle school component, I want to keep that ball rolling so that 12th grade feels a little more freedom when you have that enrichment middle school time to move into other spaces. The other, when I say other spaces, I mean being able to come out of the traditional class to do more trade, more job centric components that will hopefully get kids to not think about trying to fight over and over and over. As safety continues to be a strong issue in the building, we want to make sure that no matter who comes in or where they come in, that security is top notch. And security is on alert in all aspects and throughout the building. Another component, as we talk about culture, that I want to bring in is student advocate positions, where these are folks who are not necessarily security, but their role is to know where the trouble spots are going to be. Michael is beefing with Johnny. Let's bring Michael and Johnny. They're the ones who are going to bring Michael and Johnny in early so that they can have a conversation about what are the expectations, what's going to happen, what is going to be, what's going to happen to keep us safe beyond whatever Michael or Johnny's grade level is. These student advocates, and you want to have 4 to 5 of them on each grade level, and have a student dean of students who not only exists to take care of behavior but also help bring forth student activities and student culture that's going to make them motivated to have joy, pride into the school. All of these components come together to bridge a tight, cohesive school that makes everyone feel safe. Through the safety, this is where teachers will be able to teach better. The last thing that I didn't put into school culture are procedures. So to not create challenges over and over, you want to create incident reports before we get to office referrals. And so these incident reports are the reports that would go toward those student advocates, go toward guidance counselors. And these are done to keep things at bay, but also build the case simultaneously, so that when teachers are consistently complaining about 1 or 2 students who are consistently being disruptive, then this gives the staff ammunition to really seek additional supports to give the student either out of the building, or additional supports that could be wraparound in context of the community, helping this student so that he has or she has access to successful strategies that's going to keep them going. So this minor incident report, or this incident report, for those minor pieces of disrupting class, being insubordinate to teachers, all those things, we're documenting all of those. They don't need to be office referrals. And I'm not trying to, one would argue, well, what's the difference between office referral and the minor incident report? We don't need an office referral because somebody's disrupting class. But if you had a policy that said, okay, the teacher's going to do these 2 or 3 redirects, and then they get to give the minor incident report, which goes to the student advocate, then that student advocate can grab the little Johnny before he goes on through the rest of his day. He's not going to stay in this class he's disrupting, but before he goes on with the rest of his day, we can kind of get an understanding what's going on that's making you be disruptive. By doing this, you're going to lower the number of referrals. In fact, the goal and the strategy would be you need to get 2 to 3 of these minor incident reports before the teachers can write up a office referral, and then it gets escalated to administration. For the most part, these are things going to be handled on a lower level, except for, of course, fights or weapons or gang. But most of the challenges that are in the disruption piece, we have 210 disruptions for classroom disruptions, 100 referrals for insubordination, and 350 referrals for uniform violation. With those three, those need to be minor incident reports. The heavier pieces, such as fighting, racial slurs, things of that nature, while fighting to me is still high at 78. That's what we want to really use referrals for. And I believe by limiting or bringing in this additional support of access, where teachers try to fix the issue in class, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere with them. I can move him up to a student advocate who could operate in the guise of more of a first sergeant in the military, who says, the trouble was going to really come from them. If it has to go above their head, there's going to be some super serious trouble. Now going to the culture of the staff. So we started in context of the staff being split into teams. So they're actually on 2 teams. One is actual kind of a grade level math, English, social studies, science type team. And then there's going to be we're all math teacher team. And the math department team or reading department team, those are teams that are going to be led by myself or the assistant principal to sincerely use data to move the school forward. But on top of them being led by us, they're really led on a teacher level, and the teachers are giving each other guidance, feedback, information, where they are connecting to grow in their particular class. Doubling back with those teachers who are struggling with behavior. This goes back to by us being on the team to help out as an administration. We're not here to just be here. We're here to also give strategies to help maintain a flow of classroom management, so that you're not beating a teacher up for not being able to manage the class. You're teaching the teacher at the same time. Here is how we can plan by having a better plan for the day. This plan is going to help get our class on order, and by having a variety of engaging materials that I can bring to the table, my assistant principal should be able to bring to the table to these teams. Hopefully that will help these teachers have a stronger feel on managing the class so that they can move up.